The following story I heard from one of my teachers, Shifra Hendry. She shared a story about the Lubavitcher Rebbe, where a kiruv rabbi, a college campus kiruv rabbi, brought some of his college students to visit the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And at the meeting, the students asked him, they said, "We hear you can do miracles. Is it true?" And instead of just saying yes or no, the Rebbe answered them by saying, well, everything in the physical world, the Olam Hamaisa, it starts out, it's rooted in the Olam Hamachshava, in the world of thought. So if you can go up and change things in the world of thought, then naturally things are going to change in the physical world. So you see what he did there? He didn't just say, yes, I can do miracles. What he was basically telling them is that anyone could do miracles. And as Shifra Hendry elaborated, she explained that, hearing these ideas, it used to be something that was so mystical and beyond us, right? Like it was just so out there. But now that's really changing, where being able to do this, being able to create miracles through going up into the world of machshava is actually becoming quite accessible. We are learning it in this scientific, systematized way. You could learn it from Hasidic Kabbalistic sources. You could learn how to do it from other sources of wisdom, secular, outside sources of wisdom. And also you have people, for example, like Joe Dispenza, teaching these ideas from a scientific perspective. And what we have here is a merging of the spiritual and physical worlds. And that's because we are so close to Mashiach, and Mashiach is heaven on earth, right? Mashiach is a complete merging of the spiritual and physical worlds. And in preparing for that, we are now experiencing that merging. And there's many examples for this, but this is one example where something which used to be so mystical and beyond us we can now really bring it down into very concrete, physical, understandable, almost scientific explanations. Another reason for why this is really a symptom or a sign of being so close to Mashiach is that if you recall in Geula Mindset Part 1, the call of the hour, I explained that when Mashiach comes, it's going to be the paradigm of a circle, which represents equality. And everyone is going to be equal. It's not like there's going to be great tzadikim much higher up than all the simple people who are below, the way it is in this world, which is represented by a line where there's uppers and lowers in certain ways. But when Mashiach comes, it's going to be the paradigm of a circle, which is equality. All the souls are going to be equal. And that's why for the last few hundred years, as we've been preparing for Mashiach, there's been a big push and movement towards equality for everyone. And this is another example of it, where what used to only be accessible to the spiritual giants is now becoming accessible and doable for regular people. And this is point number 3. If you recall on the last video, which ended because it started to rain outside, I was I wanted to give 3 reasons for 3 explanations for how Geula Mindset, Geula Consciousness, it's nothing new under the sun. It's not new to Judaism. It's the old Judaism, just understood a lot more deeper. And so point number 3 is that what Geula Consciousness is it's really just accessing what the Tzadikim and the spiritual giants have always been accessing, but it was beyond us. It was beyond the rest of us. And now it's becoming approachable. Now we're able to be, in many ways, like the Tzadikim. And the first time I started to realize this, before I could even really put words to it and explain it in this way, was a while ago. So right before I began what I call my transformational journey. I was reading the biography of Rebbetzin Henny Machlis. It's called Emunah with Love and Chicken Soup. Excellent book, highly recommend. And in the book, there are many stories of how she just seemed to be like a walking miracle. Like things just always worked out for her. If there was ever something to be worried about and people around her were worried, she wasn't worried. She was always in this like state of emotional equilibrium where she trusted that things would work out. And then when they did work out in the most fantastic, miraculous ways, she didn't act surprised. It was just like, yeah, sure, that's how it is. It's not surprising. That's just life, right? That was the attitude that she had. And she just literally had miracles happening for her left and right. And it just blew everyone away. The people around her, they were blown away by it. But for her, this was just normal. And I remember at the time reading the book and thinking, how did she do that? Like, wait, no. Like, I wanted to know, how did she do that? How did she just have miracles happen for her? How did things just work out for her in the craziest of ways? And then a little while later, after I started to learn these ideas, which I teach now, and that I call Geula mindset, Geula consciousness, as I started to learn it, at some point it hit me and I said, oh, that's how she did it. That's what she was doing. The things that I am learning how to do and which has created endless miracles in my life, I realized that's what Rebbetzin Henny Machlis was doing. And I mean, there's no shortage of stories, miracle stories from all the tzadikim. And that was just what tzadikim were able to do. They're able to create miracles. And I realized that's what they're doing. So Geula consciousness, Geula mindset is allowing us to be like tzadikim. And so I guess what you could say is that at the core of Geula consciousness, what it really is the recognition of our greatness, the ability to step into that greatness, and the understanding that as we make the significant internal shift, life will start to rise up to meet us. And that life is going to be a very different life. It's going to feel like Geula.